Okay, so this video is going to be a very special double review because I have two Australian films to talk about. I figure I might as well just put them together. So today we're going to be discussing two very unrelated films, as far as I know. Next of Kin, 1982, and The Loved Ones, 2009. I don't know how Floydster23 convinced me to take two recommendations, but I did. Okay, I didn't take two from everybody, I'm sorry. Somehow Floydster is special. First, we'll be discussing Next of Kin. My discussion of Next of Kin is going to be spoiler free. This was released in 1982. It was co-written and directed by Tony Williams. Here is your synopsis. A young woman named Linda inherits a country nursing home and moves in while operations continue. Soon she discovers something sinister is going on within its walls. So this film, it had a really nice setup. We had this woman go, it's a very like remote estate that she goes to, but it's this like beautiful mansion, and things are already like going on there, but now she owns it. I don't know how many old people are there. I mean, it looks like there might be like 20 or something. But I feel like we didn't really get properly introduced to the characters here. Or maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind while watching this. But I got pretty confused. Even though I stayed confused, the film, like, it was very cozy and had this really nice atmosphere. It was one of those films that just had like moments of stillness that are really immersive. I love when horror films do that. So just like getting to know the house a little bit and all of that is really nice. Visually, it's very like shadowy and dark and still. I liked it. I really liked our main character, Linda. She is played by Jackie Karen. She had like a very unique look, but also like a very effortless beauty. So I looked her up, and she's an author now. She didn't act for very long, I don't think, but now she's an author, which is cool. We also have John Jarratt playing Barney. And that's kind of weird that this is another movie with someone named Barney in it that I have watched from this watch list. He's the boyfriend, or like an ex-boyfriend who is a rekindled flame, I guess. And these are the kinds of things that like the film just doesn't spoon feed you, okay? And sometimes my dumbass needs some spoon speeding. Spoon speed me. We also have Alex Scott playing the doctor and Gerda Nicholson playing Connie. Oh, and also shout out to Charles McCallum who plays Lance, the old man. Okay, so basically Linda moves into this house and some weird, scary stuff is going on. And she starts digging into archives and diaries and things and finding some concerning material. It's one of those movies where it's like a bunch of very small things adding up. So on one hand, it's a very easy watch. It almost feels like a straightforward watch, but on the other hand, it's kind of confusing. I don't know how that makes any sense. So I definitely had to get on Wikipedia and read the plot breakdown, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Like sometimes it felt very supernatural. It also felt like a mystery. It also kind of felt like a slasher. And yeah, I definitely missed some things. I would love, if you've seen this movie and you were confused, I would love to know that I'm not the only dumb one. And I feel like tension wasn't really properly built with the people that maybe it needed to be built with. At the end of the day, you don't really know how much everybody knows. Now, one thing I will say about this movie is the third act was a blast. It was so much fun. It really cranked it up into high gear, and it really delivered. I thought this was a charming film. It's definitely one I want to rewatch. Something about it just like makes you want to come back to it. Now let me say, I had to split this viewing up into like 2 or 3 days, so that might have affected my comprehension of the movie. So if you do watch it, I would recommend doing it in one sitting and probably doing it sober. I don't know why I have to keep telling you what your state of consciousness should be when you're watching a movie these days. That was a really fun look into Australian horror from the early 80s. It definitely had an 80s flavor to it. without giving away too much, it got 80s. I really like this movie. I gave it a 3.5, which is what I've been giving a lot of these lately, which maybe I should just be giving it a 4. I don't know why I'm holding back, but thank you, Floydster, for Next of Kin. Now I want to move on to talk about The Loved Ones from 2009. I'm going to try my best to avoid spoilers. These are going to be mid-level spoilers, okay? This is a teenage film, kind of a torture film, and it is directed by Sean Byrne. Here is your synopsis. Brent is struggling with depression, but his girlfriend Holly is a light in his life. As the two prepare for the end-of-year dance, Brent is approached by another girl at school, Lola. Lola asks if Brent will be her date, but he politely declines. Little does he know, that simple answer will change his life forever. This is why I'm wearing pink, okay? If you've seen the cover or the trailer or seen the movie, you get it. This film is very memorable. While it's not perfect, or I guess it doesn't go the way you think it would be going, it's still very memorable, a very striking movie. And I knew a little bit about this film because I watched Possessed by Horror talk about it on her channel. So I kind of knew to brace myself for some torture. It was rough, it was difficult, but it was also creative and very exciting. Brent gets kidnapped by Lola and her father, and they proceed to torture him. They do all kinds of things to him, and I'm not going to give it all away, but I will say what they do at the beginning is they inject him in the throat with something that makes him unable to talk. I don't know if this is a real substance or if this is just something that's made up, but he can't talk. And I feel like that was just horrific, and it changes the movie. It could have been an entirely different movie if he could talk, you know? But just the fact that he cannot communicate during all of this is just horrific. Okay, let's talk about these characters. First, we have Xavier Samuel as the lead, playing Brent, our Scream King. And he was incredible. The highest praise. I hope he's been in other horror movies. I don't know, but he was just so remarkable to watch on screen. He must have sold his soul to the devil or something. He was so good. And then we have Robin McLeavy as Lola. I'm scared just looking at her. We have Daddy. We have John Brumpton playing Daddy. Richard Wilson playing Jamie. And Victoria Thane playing Holly. I don't really like The Loved Ones as a title. I think End of Year Dance would have been a better... I don't know. I think they could have come up with a better title. However, The Loved Ones does convey that this is perhaps a serious movie, and it is a film that takes itself seriously. This is obviously about teenagers in high school, and I feel like they captured that vibe very effectively. It's very music infused, very angst infused. Got sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you know. But speaking of rock and roll, so they're trying to make Brent as like, he's a metalhead guy. And I just hate to see filmmakers make such generic decisions, like putting their metalhead in a Metallica shirt from Target. I swear, I should be a metal consultant and an occult consultant for movies. Y'all hit me up if you just ask. Okay, I don't want to get too deep into this movie if you haven't seen it. I would recommend seeing it. As with Next of Kin, I would recommend them both. But this film kind of inverts what you typically see from movies like this, or even hear from true crime cases like this, in that the female is the perpetrator and the male is the victim. So it's really interesting to just see that power dynamic flipped on its head. The thing is with this movie is that we don't learn anything about anybody's social status. Like, we don't know if Lola's uncool or if she's like normal. Like, we don't know anything. We don't know if people think she's weird. We know nothing. So this doesn't really feel like an underdog story or anything like that because we have no context. It is interesting though because she did seem shy at school, and then she seemed very excited and animated at home. And that, I like that because I feel like a lot of kids in school are the same way, where in one environment they might be very reserved, but in another, environment, you can really see them come to life. Any synopsis of this film seems to imply that this is a revenge motive. However, I'll leave that up to you if you watch it. For me, it didn't seem revenge driven. Because again, this isn't an underdog thing. This isn't even about the rejection, because it wasn't even really rejection. It was just like, I can't go to the dance with you. It almost doesn't seem personal what she's doing. But y'all let me know if you agree or disagree. The film has a strange B-plot, okay, that I don't know why it's there. And it also takes a wild turn once you learn more about what's going on. And at first I was like, that's dumb. That's really dumb. But then once you like get used to it, it actually is pretty horrific. So I would say I liked this film more than I thought I would, which is why like I never reached for it until now. But I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. It was really, really good. In terms of revisability, I don't know. It was very unpleasant. I was very tense. I was very squirmy. I was like, ugh, a lot. But very well acted, very well made. I think it was a blast. So thank you, Floydster, for taking me to Australia. I liked it. Let's continue this discussion. Do you have any favorite Australian films? Let's shine a spotlight on that country/continent. Let a hoe know down below. And until next time, what do Australians say? Oi! Oi, mate.